Hello and welcome to Addicted to Animation Reviews. This week I'm going to be reviewing Vampire Knight, and, well, this show is terrible. First up, the writing. The story is about a girl called Yuki who was rescued by a vampire as a child and adopted by a former vampire hunter who now runs a school, split into a day class of human students and a night class of vampire students. A love triangle develops between Yuki, her adopted brother, and the vampire who rescued her as a child. There's some action and some attempts at making the villains morally ambiguous, but none of the characters really undergo any development throughout the series at all, or make any rational choices whatsoever. For example, the Senate want to bring back to life the vampire who killed Kaname's parents, even though they have no control over him, and he then goes on to keep killing their members. The character of Ichiru also keeps changing sides willy-nilly and doing things that completely contradict his own motives. And to make matters worse, one of Yuki's love interests is revealed to actually be her brother. This would disturb any real person, but instead she fricking agrees to be his lover, turning the cliché vampire love triangle into an incest vampire love triangle. Zero, one of the two love interests, also doesn't try to talk Yuki out of leaving with Kaname at the end, and for no reason whatsoever promises to kill her, even though that is blindingly the opposite of what he actually wants to do, and his actions once again seem highly unrealistic. The animation quality is also appalling, even by Studio Dean's standards. Now, anyone who's seen the Fate/stay night Unlimited Blade Works movie knows that Studio Dean actually do have some seriously talented animators, but in this series the frame rate is often much slower in the backgrounds than on its characters. There are a few instances of the walk cycles being off and it looking more like characters are growing than moving forwards, and there are two scenes in which characters fall forwards out of windows, then inexplicably land on their feet, suggesting they did somersaults in midair that we didn't see. Characters frequently go out of their way to act cool for no clear reason, including the headmaster, who half the time acts like a complete nutjob, and since the students who are vampires are in no way affected by sunlight, it makes no sense that they will be split up into the classes the way they are. It's also not explained why all of the main characters who are vampires in the second season suddenly have powers that were said in the first season to be exclusive to purebloods.
Continuity! I guess it's only for people who give a shit.
Yuki is also an extremely weak main character, frequently needing to be rescued and suffering from unhealthy levels of obsession towards Kaname. It also makes no sense whatsoever that Zero would ever be on a school disciplinary committee when he keeps skipping classes and plainly has no discipline at all. The English dub is also the worst I've ever had the misfortune of listening to in terms of bad voice acting, and two of the supporting characters, Ido and Ichijo, also look almost exactly the same, so it's often hard to tell who's who between them. In short, Vampire Knight is an appalling mess of an anime, and I utterly do not recommend it. 1 out of 10, skippable.